Good morning, good people, fellow humans. And I spell that Huemonds, colorful nuts, because that's what we are. It is about a little bit before 6 a.m. here in Pahrump, or Pahrumpertucky. You decide, where we are about 60 miles west of Las Vegas, 60 miles east of Death Valley, about 70 miles south of Area 51, and this is the crossroads of the Nevada frontier. And we are lucky enough to be here, where this is hard scrabble people, generally hard scrabble, rootin' tootin', hard scrabble, sharp-elbowed, rootin' tootin', pistol-packing people. And it is a great place, great microcosm of community. And especially if you're interested in trying to change people who want to be a particular way, which I would describe as, from the youth, it is they don't have good role models. This is the armpit of Las Vegas. Nothing good seems to come out of here. I would say, the youth perspective growing up here. There is no there. Mediocre kids, generalized by mediocre kids. It would be interesting to see the SAT scores from the high school here and where they go on to college, what percentage go on to college. That would be interesting. What percentage graduate? Those would be very interesting statistics. Make a note, find them. And on the other end, the working from 100 years old down, is people who aren't really interested in change. They're kind of riding into the sunset, not looking for any storms, not looking for any beautiful, wonderful, paradise-like days. They kind of want things to be the same, but they want things to get better. And there's not really any reason to make them better. And so that's the community. So if you want to change things, you don't have a lot of pull from the community, senior people. Not a lot of business here other than retail shops supporting people living here. A few tack houses for the people who own horses, big animals. But anyway, it's a very interesting place to be. And you can learn a lot. If you're interested in how to move the needle, how to push people forward, this is a good place to be. All right, enough with that. Why are we here? We're here to help our students and interested people on their journey through this life, how to use the tools to become successful. And for us, success is a simple formula. Success equals money times meaning and purpose. So let me break those down. Money is just the ability to do more. If you don't have money and you need to get someplace 5 miles away, you have very limited choices. You can basically walk, you can call somebody up and ask them for a ride. You can hitchhike. Don't have a lot of choice. If you have $5, you can do the same things, but you can also maybe go to somebody who has a car and say, hey, if I pay for gas, will you give me a ride? There's a service here in town for like $3 or $4. They'll give you a ride, but you have to have cash. you have $20. You have more ways to do it. At a certain point, you can buy a bicycle, rent a car, do things, buy a car. If you have $10,000, you might call a helicopter, buy a better car. So money is just the ability to do more. In itself, it has no good value. It's not the source of the root of all evil, and lack of money is not the root of all evil. Money is what money does. But to be successful, you have to have money. But money in itself is not success. So it's money multiplied by meaning and purpose. What is meaning? Meaning means act such that everything you do matters. Do important stuff. Just don't sit around eating Cheetos all day long down in the basement of your parents' house. Act such that everything you do matters. So if you have money and you're using it to do things that matter, you can become successful, but you're not fully successful. So you could decide what matters is being a gadfly to the government, posting things all the time about the defects of our political system or particular people or certain causes, or writing books, doing research. And that's where the last one comes in. Purpose, meaning and purpose. Purpose is service to others. So if you think about it, if you spend your day doing important things that are service to others, that's good, right? But you're not successful unless you can put a lot of money, or the more money you put on it, the better you're going to do. So if you have a lot of money and you're focused on doing important things to help other people, then you would be successful under our definition. And that definition only works if you believe that you have a transcendent soul. Because if we are just atoms in the void, there is nothing is better than anything else. If we're just atoms in the void, if you want to go out and be a mass murderer or be a real bad person, a bad character, ultimately there's no difference between that and being good. There's no difference between Hitler and Mother Teresa if we are just atoms in the void, if there is no ultimate meaning or purpose to life. No value system is better than any other. Now, they might be more practical, meaning if you want to be somebody who believes in a lot of mayhem and destruction, you probably won't get away with it for very long. Whereas if you're helping people, you'll probably get away with it longer than not. So, but from an intrinsic value, there is no difference between what Hitler believed and Mother Teresa. If we are just atoms in the void, if there is no ultimate meaning. And very few people accept that there is no ultimate meaning in life. Very few people act that way. Even people who are atheists will say there is ultimate right and ultimate wrong, that you should behave this particular way from an ultimate perspective, not from a practical, but from an ultimate perspective. They'll say certain behavior is right and good. But if we're just atoms in the void, that's not true, because it doesn't matter. In the end, it doesn't really matter. Everyone ends up in the same place. No one is going anywhere any different, and that where people are going is nowhere. Going back into the ground to decompose, be burnt up, whatever it is we're going to do, and it doesn't matter. So, our formula for success only has meaning and value if we have a transcendent soul. So if we have a transcendent soul and you say, well, I spent my life accumulating money to then use to do important things to make people's lives better. That's what I did. I didn't do it some of the time, I did it all of the time. And does that fit into Jesus's 3 commandments? Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. That would be doing, important stuff that matters to help other people. You're doing it because you believe you have a transcendent soul. Love one another as I have loved you. Definitely, if you have meaning and purpose, you are doing that. You're doing the 2nd commandment. The 3rd commandment, make disciples. Well, you can't be using a lot of money to make other people's lives better without that 3rd thing, making disciples of other people, because you'd be spreading that word, right? Here's the important thing to do, people. Have meaning and purpose. Focus on meaning and purpose. Getting money, meaning and purpose. So you would do that. Okay. So we're 11 minutes in. That's why we are here, to help people on their journey through life, the adventure of life, to see life as an adventure, as a journey. And if you see life as an adventure and a journey, then you need certain things to be able to be successful on that adventure and journey. You just don't get up in the morning, get out of bed and say, I'm on an adventure. I'm not taking any money. I'm not having any plans. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to let fate decide. That's not a good plan. So we're here to help you. So here, the ultimate fundamental thing is answering 2 questions. So over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be doing this course designed for people in the state pen, people in prison, and it is a neuroscience approach to success, as opposed to psychology, sociology, religion, astrology, meteorology. This is just a neuroscience thing. So when we say there's 2 questions we want to answer, who am I and why do I behave the way I do? We're looking at those from a nuts and bolts thing, not from a psychology thing, or a religious thing, an astrology, not from anything other than a physical, who am I and why do I behave the way I do? So one of the things in the world is Arthur, one of the people in the past who had a good amount of importance was Arthur C. Clarke. And he created 3 laws. He formulated 3 laws that he has gotten credit for. We don't care about those 3 laws. We care about the 4th law, which is attributed to him, sort of, kind of, but it's known as Clarke's 4th law. And the 4th law is that for every expert, there's an equal and opposite expert. We want to avoid Clarke's 4th law problems. So we don't say something is true because the Bible said it's true. We don't say it's true because God told me it's true, or Jesus told me it was true. We don't do things like that. It's true because this person said it's true. We rely heavily on experts. Those are the people who the other experts, knowledgeable people, agree are probably correct. So we agree upon them a lot, but we don't say it's true because they say it's true. We say there is this truth that is enunciated, described, let's just leave it at that. It's told to us through somebody who is an expert that we have good reason to believe they're on the right path. It's not true because they say it. It's true because it's true. They happen to be saying it is true. And we try to find people in areas where there is no Clarke's 4th law problem. So we don't say, here's the meaning of life because so-and-so said it's the meaning of life, because then you have a Clarke's 4th law problem. So if the Pope says, here's how to live, there's going to be a lot of equal and opposite experts. You have Protestants that say, no, he's wrong. The Dalai Lama, well, no, he's not exactly right. The head of the Mormon church, the Muslim, everybody, that's a Clark's fourth law problem. So we want to avoid, we do everything we can in the next 4 weeks to avoid Clark's fourth law problems. We'll never say it's true because the Bible says it's true. Now, we might say there's a whole bunch of documentation from people that say Jesus was born, lived, crucified at this particular point in time. Everybody agrees. We might say that's true. Why? Because there really isn't a Clark's fourth law problem there. The actual experts agree that yes, Jesus was a person who lived and was crucified by the Romans. And then we will say, and there's a whole bunch of external evidence to support that he was resurrected. Both behavioral things we can observe, like the growth of the church, the apostles dying as martyrs. People don't die for lies. It's very hard to get people to die for a lie, especially if they're given the opportunity to just stop. Okay, the Shroud of Turin. So there's preponderance of the evidence that it's true. And if we accept it as true, then that gives us a path forward. So we use Clark's fourth law. We try to avoid Clark's fourth law problem. So again, we have this journey. Life is a journey. And we're here to help people on their journey through a neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Meaning, again, we are looking at where are our beliefs, where's all of this come from? And it comes from our brain. How do we know? Because if you damage the brain, those things are affected. If you damage your arm or your leg, those things are not affected. If you have a heart transplant, you're still the same person you were before. Maybe not physically exactly, but you are. So how does the brain work? Where are these things? Where are our beliefs stored in our brain? Where is our motivation? Where does that come from? Our discipline, our fears, all of those things, those chemical things happen. So our goal over the next 4 weeks is to focus on answering 2 questions. Who am I and why do I behave the way I do? In the context of I'm trying to navigate the best possible way through this life. I want to have the best experience of life, and I want to be pointed in the right direction and have the best possible trajectory. That's it. That's the goal of this program, to help our students and interested people on that journey. And then on the weekends, we have G School, which is right. We have G School, which is the spiritual side. So we are running short of time. Let's just quickly look at the worksheet. And we do this through a daily worksheet. This daily class, there's a worksheet. It has a whole bunch of things updated every day. And our theme of today is who am I? Why do I behave as I do? We start with advice from an 80-year-old, which is be a good winner. Yesterday, we talked about being a good loser, why it's important to be a good loser. Today, why be a good winner? And the answer is really, really simple. So that people will want to play with you again. That's it. Be a good winner so people will want to play with you again. Boom. Because it's not so good to be, I'm the champion in your face, and nobody wants to compete with you. Or everybody just wants to destroy you. They don't have fun. It's not a good learning experience. People don't mind losing to people if they're getting something out of it in a positive way, like learning. Aha, one day I'll beat you. I want to keep playing against you because I want to beat you, because I want to be like you, but better than you. versus I want to beat you because I want to get rid of you. You're a scourge on the people. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up. We'll be here tomorrow at the same time, same place, and that is cut.